I can't believe that some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video are real, but they are, and people are talking about it and making a big fuss about these things. So, I'm gonna give my take on them. Hi, I'm Mug Thief, or depending on who you ask, also a French poodle melting in the sun. First off is that the conversation about Baldurs Gate 3 setting a new standard, and it keeps drumming up attention from both sides, people talking about different things, people defending developers, people saying that it's toxic to hold it up as a new standard, that it's being used and as an excuse to attack other developers. Some things like this article that Endymion TV covered for 14 minutes very angrily on his channel. I completely understand the angry part, by the way. Sometimes it's just cathartic to yell on YouTube. I get it. I'm right there with you. Say that this was an opportunity to teach consumers and to teach people about the difficulties of game development and bring light to that. So let's stop for a second. I've thought about this a lot. This is my take. This is a good cause. We should support it. Baldurs Gate 3 should be heralded as a new standard. We should talk more about this. I'm going to explain why. Firstly, focusing on negative aspects of things never leads to change. I would say that even constructive criticism is often met with resistance. However, positive feedback loops tend to help people improve. Telling someone this is good, do more of this, normally gets you more of that. So taking something like Baldurs Gate 3 and saying, this is great. Hey, everybody else, can you do this? If you do this, you'll make money. Look at Baldurs Gate 3. Look how much money it's making thanks to what it's doing. Why don't you do that? That's a very positive, healthy message. We are not tearing people down by saying that. We're just saying that if a product is like this, it will be received in the way that this one is being received, which should be more than enough encouragement for more developers, which is a very conflicting term, by the way. Developers makes me think of like a single person in a bedroom, you know, making Undertale. It should make studios and publishers realize that this is good and people like it, and if they do it, they'll be rewarded. At the core of this, we're saying the same thing we've said about other stuff for a long time. We're saying we don't want battle passes. We don't want stupid microtransactions. We don't want toxic monetization policy. See, when you don't do it, you still make money. But instead of yelling about how we don't like those things, we're saying how much we like something that doesn't have them. That's good. Now, what about how this has led on to attacks of other people? Because, of course, this message of the new standard was amplified to such a point that IGN even took advantage of it to make a video with that same take. I still don't believe it, and I don't think anybody can convince me that IGN actually did something pro-consumer, but that even got further amplified with people like Penguin Zero. His friends call him Charlie. I'm not his friend, so I have to call him Penguin Zero / Moist Critical. Made a video on it, and you know, getting covered there is pretty big. And then that's led to more people saying this message is bad, this message is toxic, you can't compare because the situations of each developer, blah blah blah. So let's get this out of the way. This article that Jason Schreier wrote saying that the success of Baldurs Gate 3 is because they are not a public company, which means they don't respond to anyone. They are an indie company. Yeah, they have 400 employees, and yes, they make AAA products, but they're also independent because they don't respond to anyone. They can do whatever they want with their game. And while I don't think it's a revolutionary way of looking at it, he does make a point that a lot of people have overlooked. Yes, of course, there is a ton of problems that come in when you're answering to shareholders and you're respecting budgets and yearly fiscal results and things like these. You need to get the product out at a certain time. There's a ton of marketing campaigns that are built around it, and all of that sector is incredibly complicated as well. And marketing can be on one side promoting something, but it's not really true because they just want to maximize sales. It's a complete mess, and the losers in that situation are always the game developers who are just trying to do their job, sometimes on projects that are something they have longed to work on for their entire lives, and other times projects they've been forced to work on to keep doing what they love, even if it's on a project they don't like, so that they can live, because that's how jobs work. Yeah, it's super complicated. And this article from GameDeveloper.com, this blog post by Brandon Sheffield, talks about it and is frankly the stupidest thing I've ever read. Could we educate people on all of those variables and all of the complexities that go on with game development? Can people empathize with the difficulties of it? Of course. Anything explained to somebody correctly without attacking them can be understood. I understand it and I can count my IQ on all 8 of my fingers. But that doesn't mean that we should. Of course we should empathize with the developers, the people that are put in the worst situation, that are stuck under the machine. But at the end of the day, these are billion-dollar corporations. And if we're capable of understanding this, we are also capable of not attacking the poor people caught in the middle, but attacking the billion-dollar corporations that keep shoveling down absolute trash down our throats day in and day out. And on top of that, when you tell me that I should empathize with the circumstances that led to me paying money for a subpar product, it means that you're not only shoveling trash down my throat, you're telling me that I'm a bad person for not saying thank you. The subpar products with toxic monetization that make workers' lives miserable, the people who actually make the game you play, they make their lives miserable, is not because of them. And I think that 99% of people understand that. And if somebody doesn't and they're saying stupid things, don't conflate the two things. Don't put them into the same argument. There's outliers in everything. In any cause, there's gonna be mixed messaging and people saying dumb stuff that doesn't belong. The complaints and the attacks are towards these companies that force these situations that are not in touch both with their developers and with their consumers, and keep offering products that people don't like, and keep offering products that are not up to our standards, the ones that we should have as consumers. So even though there is a ton of intricacy and there is of course victims within the process that leads to these games, we still have the same options when it comes to changing how these things work. And it is to positively herald something as an example of what we want and how it should be done, which is in this case is Baldurs Gate 3, because it's an excellent game that doesn't contain any toxic monetization, that is a complete package that offers diversity and a full experience packed with content that satisfies people of all types no matter what they want to get out of it. So the result is the same. We need to complain. We need to say that we don't want these things. We need to change the way the industry works by not supporting them. And a good banner to rally under is a positive one like Baldurs Gate 3. At the end of the day, as a consumer, you are paying money for a product. And if you're paying $60 for one game and $60 for another, and one is excellent, feature complete, doesn't try to get any money out of you, and is just something you enjoy that has been polished and up to a level that you expect in return for your money, and the other one is considerably worse, has toxic monetization practices in it, is buggy, and feels unfinished, why can't I say that? Why am I supposed to say, well, we don't know the circumstances under which that second game was produced? Well, newsflash, the way that we solve the problem of the second one, including all of the horrible situations that might have led to this final result, is by saying that it's bad and people not paying for it. As consumers, we are entitled to getting a product that is up to our expectations in exchange for our money. The second piece of news is going out on the Baldurs Gate subreddit, and it is about Fextralife, or Fextralife if you prefer, and about how they are scum. So in case you don't know, Fextralife as a concept is a community edited wiki, and it's a wiki for a ton of games. But as a business, they serve ads on their wiki, they make YouTube videos that they prominently place on their wiki articles, and they have a Twitch stream which they embed to pump up their viewers artificially, basically, functionally speaking, viewbotting on all of their wiki pages. So this is a conflicting issue. On one hand, I think that most of their YouTube videos, given their production timeline, you know, how many they pump out, are quite good and informative and serve to help people, especially people who are looking for those things. On another hand, they do artificially pump themselves up in the algorithm by placing them in their wiki articles. So even if the quality is not up to par, it'll still be one of the top results no matter what. Now, I don't have a problem with this. This has been happening forever. People have been bumping themselves up on YouTube from external sources all of the time, and if it's their wiki and they're handling it, that's, you know, this is how the game is played, and that's fine. I'm happy that most of their videos, like I said, I think are pretty good. The part about it that I don't like as much is that the way that they are bumping themselves in the algo is through their community edited wiki, which very often contains articles that are not only bad or incomplete, despite being the #1 result on Google for certain things, but when they are complete, they are thanks to the community. So they're profiting off of the work of other people, both in the advertisement on the wiki, as well as bumping up their YouTube views, which is a snowball, of course. So that kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. You know, this is different than when big media corporations moved over from using their own video players and started using YouTube, because then you would go to a GameSpot or an IGN, and when you watch the video review on the front page, that would of course give a view to YouTube and would bump them up in the algorithm. But everything that was there was their hard work. It was just a different place to get it, and they were going to take advantage so that it also bumped them up on YouTube. That is not the case here. This is not all their hard work. This is the hard work of the community very often. The second thing is the Twitch thing, and that's inexcusable and has always been a problem. I really enjoyed Asmongold's take on this, blaming Twitch. If Twitch wants to allow embedded views to count as viewers and allow Fextralife, which has a really boring ass stream, to occupy a top slot that would probably be better deserved by one of the very hardworking streamers that puts a ton of effort into being highly entertaining, just putting on a great show, well, that's Twitch's fault. They're kind of also just taking advantage of a loophole in the system. It's scummy. It's really scummy. It's deplorable, but Twitch is the one that allows it. So Twitch is destroying their own community and system and potential growth, which is par for the course for Twitch. So I don't know why we would expect anything else. Editing version of me to do some cleanup on the video that didn't come out as well. Keep in mind that the reason that Fextralife is getting banned from subreddits is because they are also accused of manipulating votes. So they will artificially upvote posts that contain links to their wiki and downvote ones to alternative wikis to keep their business machine grinding away. If that turns out to be true, oh man, this is horrible. I am not a streamer, by the way, and if I ever streamed, it would be on YouTube, so I have no horse in this race. I'm not personally affected by this. The few times that I have done long streams for games and stuff like that, that is an incredibly difficult thing to do. It's just really hard to be a streamer. They have my utmost respect in absolutely everything. Like, I can't imagine how tough it is to make it up in that world. It's just horrendous. So all of my support to them, and nobody should be taking your slots thanks to viewbotting. So I find it very correct that they blacklist or ban Fextralife articles on the subreddit. The third one is about Baldurs Gate 3 versus Starfield. A lot of people, especially in the console space, saying that Baldurs Gate 3 is a PlayStation exclusive. It's not. It's a console exclusive for a bit, but not in the same way that we normally talk about it. Normally when we talk about console exclusive, it's because it's a deal or because, you know, it's an Xbox game. So of course, like, you can play it on PC, but if you want to play it on a console, it has to be on Xbox, but because they own it. That's not the case with Baldur's Gate 3. There is no deal. Larian isn't making money by releasing first on PlayStation 5. If Larian could, I'm 99% sure they would release at the same time. The only possible tangential benefit they get is all of the press that I doubt they need at this point about how the game is coming to PS5 first, and people making up that it's like a console exclusive type of situation, and that's free marketing. But I'm pretty sure with all of the advertisement that Baldur's Gate 3 has had by itself, it would be better to just release it on both and get all the money from both of the platforms. This is not a console exclusive. There's no deal here to benefit Sony or Larian. That's also some people saying, look at that, Sony doing so well, they don't even need to move a finger to get console exclusives. Again, it's not about Sony. It's about Larian and what they can do to release it. But that's all beside the point. People comparing and saying that like Starfield is dead and not gonna be anything because Baldurs Gate 3 is amazing. So I don't know how to tell you guys this. They're very different games. Just because they're RPGs doesn't mean that they're the same kind of game and that they're competing against each other. Bethesda RPGs are very particular types of games. Nobody really does RPGs like Bethesda does. Much like I did in a previous video talking about Spider-Man and Starfield as exclusives and all of that stuff. It's like comparing filet mignon and creme brulee. Yeah, I guess they're both foods, but I can't really compare anything about them beyond that. What I do know is that they're both good eating. So just enjoy it. A lot of people are talking about Starfield and how it looks bad because there's a gameplay leak of somebody playing it on their Xbox console and filming it in vertical video with their cell phone. It's like, I have access to this video. It's not hard to find. I just chose not to watch it because after skimming around for 2 minutes, you can't really tell much about the game. It looks like trash, not the game, the video. It's a cell phone video of a screen, vertical. It's so... like, it's just the worst possible representation of a game. And we live in a world where it's not that difficult to get a positive representation because all you need to do is press record on a PC or even on some TVs. So, you know, this is the way that people are going to judge the game. And on top of that, try and make a comparison between two completely different games like Baldur's Gate and Starfield. I don't get it. Anyways, I hope Starfield is good. This is just dumb. I just lose my patience. I just can't understand the internet sometimes. But anyways, that's the controversy news roundup. Most of this is old news, but hey, I got a YouTube channel and I'm trying to grow it. By the way, help me grow it. If you agree with the things I think or say in this video, hit like, leave a comment. That's good for the algo. I liked how this commenter did it, so let's put some spins on it. If you got all the way to the end of the video, leave a comment saying, for the Vincent algo. Hopefully that means that my content entertains, educates, gives people more things to think about. We keep growing, which is great. I want to keep producing high quality content for all of the releases coming out the rest of the year. I've got some reviews in the works right now. Subscribe for more. I've been Mug Thief. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the internet.